Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the bonus footage from my time with the FAL. And as per usual, I shall be answering some of the questions left in the comments on the main video. And so, without further ado, let us get started. First question is from Avoidable Singer HD. They ask, does it ever annoy you that you put so much effort into every single video you release, but that there are other channels sometimes getting 5 to 10 times the amount of views for a terribly produced video? Well, I suppose it's kind of part of the nature of YouTube, really. Viral videos, they tend to be the ones that get the millions of views, and that's okay. I mean, YouTube is a platform for all, and, you know, if some people can get millions of views on a stupid video, that's brilliant. But at least I like to pretend that a well-produced video will perform more consistently. There's less of a luck factor when it comes to stuff that, you know, like I do. I'm pretty confident, were I to sort of produce something that was in demand on YouTube, for instance, Black Ops 2 weapon guides upon its release, that I would get a decent quantity of views. Okay, next question. Irish Royal Gamer asks, Stu, have you seen the new Black Ops 2 Villains trailer? If so, do you have any concerns or comments about it? Well, of course I have seen it, as well as the official Call of Duty channel. It's been uploaded to pretty much every single other Call of Duty channel, so it's almost impossible to miss it. But yes, I've seen it. It's just single player, isn't it, at the minute? I guess we're all waiting for multiplayer details. That's the juicy stuff. That and zombies as well. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing what they've done with zombies. But as far as my confidence in tryout goes, as far as making a good game is concerned, I'm actually fairly optimistic. If we take Black Ops as a starting point and add 2 years of development and new features onto that, I think, you know, we should see some pretty good improvements. I'm actually fairly excited to see what sort of things they've come up with. And, you know, while they can't please everyone and it might not be the best game ever, I'm actually, like I say, I'm optimistic that Black Ops 2 will actually be pretty good. You know, good for a Call of Duty game anyway. The bemused Moreno 3 Reke says, I still don't understand why he gets nothing but no prestiges and first prestiges. Hacker. I can only assure you that I go through the regular matchmaking process like everybody else. Now, a few of you asked a question similar to this one. Sergey Basket 97 says, Xbox Ahoy, M14 or FNFAL? Well, based solely on their in-game representation, I've actually still got to side with the FAL. I like the fact you can spam it a little bit more, because of its slightly less predictable but overall lower recoil. You can get close with it and just spam the trigger, which I find works, you know, reasonably well with my playstyle. Shadowman22122 says, Stuart, do you have a favourite snack or drink to enjoy while you play or edit? As far as whilst I'm playing is concerned, I like to keep things fairly lean. I generally don't eat whilst I play, and I'll drink something cold and carbonated, normally just sparkling water. Now, as for editing, that's a different kettle of fish, really. Drinking, probably something caffeinated. Diet Coke, normally sometimes coffee. And to eat, I will snack sometimes whilst I work. I want a bit of a health kick at the minute. Fruits, berries, nuts, that sort of thing. I do quite enjoy a glass of lager or a beer towards the end of my day as well. One of my favourites is, it's actually a German Hefeweiss beer, Franziskaner, which you might just see in a Beverage Guide Express at some point in the future. Donuts Rule 14 says, Hey Stu, I don't know much about guns, so I thought I would ask you. What is that thing that moves when you fire? It looks as though you can pick it up. It's around the barrel of the FAL. Oh, and it's also found on the Galil, the RPK, the HK21, the M60, both MW3 and Black Ops, and the Mark 46. Well, you almost had it with the comment about you can always pick it up. Well, you can see it on the FAL here, just on the right side. It kind of sort of hangs off. It's actually a carry handle. You just, literally, it's a handle with which you can carry the gun. And I think it's, yeah, you'll find it on most of the LMGs as well. Principally because they're actually very heavy. I know they're called light machine guns, but it's all relative, isn't it? It's relative to a heavy machine gun, which will be on an emplaced sort of position. So yes, it's a carry handle. Simple as that. The Fusion Ninja asks, what's your opinion on quickscoping? Does it annoy you, or do you just let them get on with it? Well, I mean, of course, it's always annoying to be killed by someone with a one-shot kill weapon. Shotguns and sniper rifles are frustrating weapons to die against because you feel like you didn't have a chance to fight back. So when you get killed by a sniper rifle at close range, it does feel like an insult. But for the most part, you're better off with something like an MP7. So I don't feel so bad, and it's rare that you run into a quickscoper that's actually good. So for the most part, I'll just leave them to it. SSJ Naru Soniku says, Stu, do you prefer extended mags or dual mags? Well, if we're talking about the FAL, seeing as it's not an automatic weapon, I'd definitely go with the dual mags. If we're talking automatic assault rifles, then I've got to say, actually, I prefer extended mags, especially on the FAMAS, on the AUG, the fast-firing ones. For the Commando, the Galil, and the AK-47, either or, really. The extra supply is really nice with dual mags. But extended mags is, well, it offers more utility. You can spray for longer. Wally1994 says, Stu, I have an idea. When you finish your Beverage Guide Expresses, you can make a Beverage Guide Express pack containing all the beverages featured in your series. In a subscriber giveaway, you could perhaps give one away, and sell the others for a nice price. Wait a minute. What do you mean, finish Beverage Guide Express? There are more beers than I could hope to ever cover. However, I do actually have a kind of a special Beverage Guide Express planned. I want to do like a review of the year every Christmas. So by then there'll be what? Ooh, let's say 50 episodes. What I'll do is I'll do a rundown of my top 5 favourite drinks that I covered and my top 5 least favourite. I think it'll be fun and quite a nice way to sort of recant some of the stuff that I've drank over the years and sort of link to the highlights and the lowlights. As far as doing giveaways with alcohol, oh, I don't know, that's a whole different kettle of worms, isn't it? I need to forge a partnership with like an import beer store somewhere. Take commission and all the rest of it. That'd be all right. Dorice3654 says, Hey Stu, I am from Belgium myself, but have you ever been to Belgium? I have once, but I am sad to say I was only passing through. I was on my way to the Netherlands. However, fret not, because I actually have a little bit of a weekend break planned in August for my birthday. I'll be going away to Brussels for 3 days. I don't really have anything planned to do whilst I'm in Brussels. I just plan to occupy a bar and drink beer, really. And maybe have a look at the sights, you know. But I'm looking forward to my little trip away. It will be nice to see the home of some of my favourite beers. Alicia161 Fishy says, Dear Xbox Ahoy, what do you think of the Half-Life game series? Have you ever played it? I have, yes. In fact, I've played every single Half-Life game very shortly after its release. I've been a fan of the series since very, very early on. I think I got the original, must be 1998. And I played it on my old Voodoo 2. Actually, I think Half-Life might have predated my Voodoo 2. So I might have played it like in software mode. Oh, dear oh me. Fantastic game series. Love it. Can't wait for episode 3 or Half-Life 3 or whatever it's going to be. Oh, and you can pretty much guarantee that at some point I'll do an episode of Game Over on Retro Ahoy for Half-Life, the original, of course. Les Vegas 5 says, Who's your favourite movie director? Well, I'm probably going to say Peter Jackson. Heavenly Creatures is one of his first films, and it's one of my favourite films. And, of course, you can't ignore The Lord of the Rings, another fantastic trilogy. And no doubt The Hobbit is going to be pretty gosh darn good as well. So, yeah, no, I think Peter Jackson is a good choice. David47295 says, Hey Stu, do you plan to make any more playthroughs on your other second channel? My other second channel? I've only got the one second channel. It's a possibility, yes. I don't know what, I don't know when. Actually, one possibility is the new version of XCOM Enemy Unknown, the Firaxis, the tactical one. I was thinking about doing it with the original, but I don't know how well that would go down. But I've been playing that a bit recently, and I think the sort of the tactical choices and some of the stuff that happens in that game would be, you know, it would lend itself well to a video playthrough. X1 Jeebus says, Stu, I have a question about this video. When you killed that guy who was laying down in the bedroom in Nuketown, did you smash his tactical insertion or kill him when he spawned? That's a good eye you've got. Yes, I actually had to cut that clip down slightly for time. It was ever so slightly too long to fit in the gap that I had. So I did in fact cut the... I killed him after he spawned. But no, I clipped the kill off the end just because there was kind of a pregnant pause and then the kill. So it wasn't really sort of worth keeping hold of. Fanta says, Stuart, you own a decommissioned FAL, don't you? I believe I've seen it in some of your videos. If so, you have very good taste. What other guns do you own? Yes, I do have it's a deactivated FAL. It's actually an Indian Ishapur one. It's a 1A1. But it had the advantage of being cheaper than an actual FAL or an L1A1 SLR. About half the price of an SLR, in fact. As far as other deactivated guns I own, I actually have a Tokarev TT-33. It's a 1954, I think it's a Russian manufacture. And I do have one other rifle, but if I told you what it was, you'd know what the next episode of Behind the Lines was going to be. So I'm going to keep that one a secret for now. I like deactivated weapons. I mean, they're an absolute rip-off. They're incredibly expensive. In fact, they're more expensive than the actual rifles themselves because essentially what you have to do is purchase the rifle and then pay for the process of deactivation. So as far as overall cost is concerned, it's absolutely ridiculous, and the rarer stuff goes for obscene amounts of money. To give you an example, for instance, I saw, what was it? It was an L86 LSW, one of the British light support weapons, deactivated for £5,000. £5,000! None of mine are quite that expensive, all of mine are sub £500, but nevertheless, they are quite an investment. I kind of promised myself I can buy a new deactivated weapon for every Behind the Lines that I do. So I haven't bought any since I bought the last rifle. But I might pick up something new once I've done the next episode. I quite fancy an M16, incidentally. But they tend to run for about, at least £800, probably closer to £1,000. But, you know, if it's for Behind the Lines, then maybe after I've done this one, I might do the M16. That narrows down potential rifles for the next one. The Dodo Killer HD says, Hey Stu, do you ever feel that your stigma on YouTube is justified? I mean, a lot of people that I know think of you as just a voice without a real personality. I know that viewers of Ahoy Xbox know you do, but does it bother you that the majority of people see you this way? I don't know, I mean, I think there is a place for personality on YouTube, but for something that resembles a weapon guide, that maybe isn't the place. You know, people who want to watch a weapon guide maybe don't want that sort of personal edge. So being a commanding, disembodied voice has its perks, you know? Anyway, it's worked thus far for the weapon guides, and I think it'll continue to work, so it doesn't bother me so much. Of course, you guys know that I do have some semblance of personality, although I am quite the introverted type, so I generally keep it to myself. I suppose that's one good thing about these question and answer sessions, is it gives me kind of a framework to work with and sort of answer some more personal questions. For those who want to flesh out the personality behind Xbox Ahoy, if you like. Hissing Goose asks, Hey Stu, have you ever tried or heard of the following games? Team Fortress 2, Binding of Isaac, Portal, Left 4 Dead, or Skyrim? Yes to all of them, in fact. Team Fortress 2, I was in the beta, and I played quite a lot close to launch. In case you're wondering, I am a heavy weapons guy. Binding of Isaac, I only acquired recently. I picked it up in the Steam sale for cheap. I haven't played it yet. I'll probably give it a try at some point, although I don't have much of a stomach for games like Super Meat Boy, so I don't know how much I'll play. Portal, well, of course, I pre-ordered the orange box, so I played Portal right at the start. Same goes for Left 4 Dead. I bought that right on launch, and Skyrim, of course. I own that for both the Xbox and the PC, and I have sunk an ungodly amount of time into it. I recently got back into playing it with Dawn Guard. I think that's taken me to probably close to 200 hours played on Skyrim now. Lordy Games says, Stu, serious question. Muse or Radiohead? I saw a bit of controversy in the comments over this one. It's like, dude, you know, Radiohead's clearly the superior choice. But you know what? I'm just going to say it. Radiohead are boring. Yeah, that's right. No, actually, I much prefer Muse. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I've listened to Radiohead. I bought OK Computer on CD, you know, this is the album of the year, you must listen to it. It's like, it's okay, but it's a little bit, well, dull. Muse, however, I love Muse. Very sort of rhythm-oriented rock, nice bass lines and stuff. I like something with kind of a bit of a rougher edge about it. SGB123 My Feet says, "So Stuart, I wonder why this was a very long weapon guide." Well, it was a pretty average length one for an assault rifle. I mean, what was it? There's 11 attachments available, so there's always going to be a long midsection. But no, this was a standard length weapon guide. I don't think it was particularly long. I know some of you are expecting me to do like a super in-depth thing because the FAL is my favourite weapon ever. But I've already done Beyond the Lines. If anything, I was trying to keep the script slim for this one. I normally have a bit of a tactics segue, just after the class recommendation to the conclusion section, but that was absent for this one. Principally because I couldn't think of any decent tactics to talk about. Head glitching is probably the best thing, but I think I've discussed that in a previous episode. Scubby's Rule says, "You said you'd be covering Iron Brew in a double Scottish episode of Drinks Ahoy. I know a couple of guys in England who tell me they can't find Iron Brew anywhere that's readily available. So did you manage to procure a can/bottle in a shop in Manchester, or import it from Scotland? I guess there must be a fairly sizable Scottish population in Manchester, because I was able to get Iron Brew in Tesco's without any sort of issues. I mean, it's just the cans, it's nothing special, no glass bottles or anything like that. We can't get some stuff, can't get the tall bars bottles, I can't get red cola or anything like that, but as far as the cans, yeah, I think I can get most of Bar's range in cans. As for Iron Brew's pairing in the double episode special I've got planned, I did actually have to search a little bit harder for that one. I had to order it online from a specialist outlet. 21 Free Skier 21 says, "Stu, great video, but I must ask, Simpsons or Family Guy?" Simpsons all the way. Even the new episodes of The Simpsons over any episode of Family Guy. Don't get me wrong, I watch Family Guy, but it doesn't hold a candle to any of Matt Groening's stuff. Don't even get me started on the Cleveland show. Anonymous Reborn says, "Stuart, have you ever heard of the Internet Movie Firearms Database, or the IMFDB?" I have indeed, yes. It's an important part of my research arsenal when it comes to guns and video games. There is no better source for finding out precisely what model was used. So I pretty much treat it as gospel. I bow to the experts on that front. XX Mylan Cox X 1989 says, "Hey Stu, what's some or one of your favourite retro games that you may have or may not have covered so far on Retro Ahoy?" Well, I've mentioned a couple of them so far, actually. Half-Life is a definite. That's a favourite of mine. I want to do the original Civilization, because it's arguably my favourite game of all time. XCOM, Enemy Unknown, that's another fantastic game. I really want to do Secret of Monkey Island as well. That's the one that got me to point-and-click adventures. And it's a brilliant game, so I definitely want to cover that at some point. So all of these things are def. As to precisely when I'll reach them, can't really say. I need to get back into the habit of doing Game Over. Alright, time for one more. The 4321KP says, "Will you ever do a coffee episode for Drinks Ahoy?" Well, it's unlikely I'd ever do an episode on a generic drink. I'm not going to do water. I'm not going to do coffee. But a specific variety or brand of coffee is much more likely. Coffee suffers from kind of the same problem as wine, in that variants aren't particularly interesting. I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I'm a bit of a beer drinker, but I find them much more interesting. There's much more variety. You know, whereas wines tend to be categorized by, you know, their country of origin. Same goes for coffee, like Colombian dark roast. I mean, what can you say about that? However, having said that, there are some interesting coffees out there. What is there? The civet cat coffee, the weasel coffee. Kopi Luwak, I think it's called. Basically, it's the beans, the coffee beans, I think they're eaten by the civet cats, little weasel-like creatures. And then they poop them out. And then they harvest the poops, and then they wash the poop off. And then they retrieve the coffee beans, and they make a coffee from that. Apparently it's the best coffee in the world or something. I might do that. Oh. Anyway, this concludes the bonus footage for this week. That's a good solid 20 minutes of footage there. Okay, so what's coming up? Oh, well, join me tomorrow on this very channel for another episode of Beverage Guide Express. And I know what you're thinking. Stu, it's only Thursday. Beverage Guide Express isn't due till Friday. Well, it's a double episode week this week. We've got, 2 beers from the same manufacturer coming up, one on Thursday, one on Friday. Then after that, of course, on Sunday, we have the final episode of the Weapons of Modern Warfare, in which we bid farewell to the series with a pairing of German rifles, the MG36 and G36C. All that makes for a weekend's worth of entertainment, and, that's a double-double, isn't it? There you go. Well, fancy that. All right, thanks for watching, and until next time, farewell.